Sir, we got an update from Rajiv Sikka, sir, that you'll be joining in 2 minutes. Is it all right if we proceed then?
Absolutely, we'll do it.
Thanks. Good morning, Rajiv Sikka, sir.
Good morning. Give us the 2 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. Namaskar.
Morning, Rajiv Sikka, sir.
Yeah,
Welcome to BII, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
Sir, we'll start with the welcome session now.
Yes.
Trust the wait, embrace the uncertainty, enjoy the beauty of becoming. When nothing is certain, anything is possible. Good morning to one and all. It gives us immense pleasure in welcoming you all to Building India in 2021, the annual business summit of Department of Management Studies, IIT Delhi. DMS IIT Delhi is an established name, not only in the academic fraternity, but also in the corporate world. The department envisions attaining global prominence through value-based management education driven by high-impact research. The department's mettle can be recognized by its eminent faculty, the research it performs, and the fostering environment it provides to the students through industry interactions and its unique pedagogy. Building India Inc. is a podium to highlight the contribution of corporate India towards making India a developed economy. The Business Summit is an endeavor to connect academia, corporate, socio-economic sector, and the government in pursuit of advocating the great Indian growth and deliberating on challenges lying ahead for the future managers of the country. This year, the theme for Building India Inc. is Rebuilding India Holistically, from agriculture to space. As India moves towards realizing its vision of becoming Atmanirbhar, it is continuously proving its mettle in all sectors, whether it's agriculture or space. Crises have been turned into opportunities for radical reform, realigning priorities and tweaking policies to pursue the greater common good. Rebuilding India holistically presents the opportunity to fundamentally rethink what kind of real economies we wish to rebuild and not be blinkered by what we include versus ignore in conventional GDP measures. What does the new normal mean for disparate industries, from agriculture to space? How do we create a better balance between contentment and sustainable consumption? At this juncture, we would like to thank our knowledge sponsor, Havish M Consulting, digital and social media coverage sponsor, Crazy About Startups, health and wellness sponsor, TYMK Health and Wellness, environmental sponsor, Sankalp Foundation, and media sponsor, DU Express. We consider it a great honor to welcome our esteemed faculty, Professor Harish Chaudhary, to address the students and carry forward the inauguration ceremony. We welcome you, sir. Professor, you're on mute, please. So sorry.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Respected Rajiv sir, dear students, the class of 2022 and the class of 2021, my colleagues present here. I have been with this department for over 3 decades now, and therefore its history. So I'm going to get a little into history. We were conducting an MTech program till 1999. Our first batch of MBA students passed out in 2001. In 1994, the students came to me and said, "Sir, you teach theory. What is practice? We have a little exposure to it." And Ashok Kamal, he led a group of students to start an event called Parivartan, which has become an annual event. And 10 years later, 2004, it was Kanika Singhal, Manu Anand and Vishal Rana, who again came to me and said, "Are we contributing to the country?" IITs have often been accused of supporting the US economy and not the Indian economy. And they started this movement, if I may call it a movement now, Building India Inc. They've come around a full round. Kanika joined McKinsey and she was posted in New York. She launched products. And she has joined the PhD program in IIT Delhi now, back as our student. So much for the history of BII, for those who are not too aware of it. A few years back, Dalai Lama was here at IIT at his young age of then 84. And in his own laughing manner, I virtually call him the laughing Buddha. He told the undergraduate students, "You all must work very hard. Join the MNCs, they are wonderful places. They will make you work 14 hours to 16 hours a day. They won't let you sleep. They'll give you so much money that you can't make your resumes. You can't think of leaving. Get enslaved, earn a lot of money, fall sick, the hospitals will need it." In his own way, he was saying, And in the poetic manner in which Lakshmi put it, yes, we must earn money for ourselves, our organizations, our country. And it was 150 years back that Andrew Carnegie wrote the famous book Creation of Wealth, which became the Bible for the Tata Group. But at end, the purpose of education is happiness, is contentment for self, for family, for society, for nation, for the world. Unfortunately, we are living in difficult times. We live in a world of broken promises. We are living in an era of, if I may say, very harmful and negative media. We hear the word corruption once too often. So before these kids were born, and again history to them, geography to me, there was that infamous Bombay blast case of 1993, which was then after that the Vora committee was set up under the chairmanship of SS Vora, ex-Home Secretary, Government of India, to investigate the matter. And since all these kids are very familiar with reading on Google, it's all over Google. And in his report, the first line of the Vora committee report writes, there is a close nexus between bureaucrats, politicians and criminals. In the second paragraph he writes, this nexus has made business corrupt. I am deeply convinced, and it was Rabindranath Tagore who said, man is honest, men are dishonest. Man is peace-loving, men are violent. Each one of us suspects ourselves of some cardinal values. Honesty is mine. Each one of you want to be honest, you want to contribute, you want to be genuine. I have no issues that you will get fancy jobs. I have no issues that you will do well in life for yourself. Each one of you will be heading companies, will be directing operations, because you are brilliant and you've been well educated. But excellent education without values will lead to developing world-class criminals. It was the gold medalist of the Ivy League schools who caused the global meltdown, the crisis of 2008-2009. I was taking a session at Harvard Business School, and I was asked by the dean, who happens to be my classmate from IIM Bangalore, how do you teach management? And he tells me, we don't teach management. So then I asked him, Narayan, how do you teach business? We're a business school. He says, we don't teach business. So I asked him, what do you do? And very beautifully he said, we make global leaders. To the kids here, these little beautiful children, so well decked up and dressed up, you'll be starting your career as a junior management level. You will grow into managers. The challenge is to become leaders. Leaders of a conscious capitalist organization. Leaders in government. Leaders in politics. I want to see more MBAs in Niti Aayog. I want to see more MBAs in the Reserve Bank of India, in the social sector, in the conscious, meaningful, ethical corporate sector. I was reading the newspaper today, and for virtually the fourth year in a row, Finland has been declared the happiest place on earth. I've been visiting Finland for the last 10 years. And the reason they give is, it is one of the most equitable societies of the world. So again, my personal experience or information from Finland, the lowest paid person there is a school teacher. Finland claims to be and is known to be the best school education system in the world. Their teachers are not highly paid. They typically start at about 24,000 euros a year, and the highest paid is a heart surgeon who can earn about 80,000 euros a year. A very equitable society. Recently, I had a team from Japan in the pre-COVID days who wanted to see India, and I was asking them which India. We have India 1, India 2, India 3, India 4. Name me which India, I'll tell you where to go. You want to see how the richest people in the world live? I can give you two names. It's on record who is the richest, who is the person whose wealth grew maximum last year from India. And you want to see abject poverty, see India. So, I mentioned to them, I believe 80% of Japan is middle class. And the leader of the team from University of Tokyo, he got angry. He got up and said, Professor, no, we are 100% middle class. Most of our students, sir, Rajiv sir, most of our students come from what I call the aspiring middle class. They are from middle class families, and with the advent of this MBA intervention, they're going to break through the glass ceiling and enter the upper economic class. But I want to tell them, and I want to warn them, don't underestimate the evil effect of money. Money is good, it's useful. Don't underestimate its evil influence. It separates people. Don't underestimate the evil influence of religion. Swami Vivekananda writes, religion is the greatest source of peace, it's the greatest source of war. Use it properly. These children will be dealing with technology at a level which we, the old people, are virtually incapable of. We haven't seen this advent of technology. They'll be dealing with driverless cars. And we'll be asking the question, if the driverless car meets an accident, who will be charged? And how will the police lodge an FIR? Against the car, against the manufacturer, against the software provider, or against the owner? It has no driver. They'll be dealing with these issues. They'll be dealing with artificial intelligence. If computers can think like men, that would be a great advantage. And once again, my classmate Chelapati Rao, who heads the Watson Labs, IBM research lab at New York, tells me that's next. And I was asking him, but Chelapati, if men start thinking like computers, that will be a disaster. We don't want more machines. We want good machines. Of course, I'm looking forward to technology. I'm looking forward to food being delivered through the net. I'm looking forward to physically transport at the speed of thought. Not through AR, VR, but be at Times Square when I want to be and be right back for my class after 15 minutes. Sure, these things will happen. At the same time, in his famous book, Steve Levitt, of Economics, he suggests that happiness is a function of social interactions. And once again, fortunately, unfortunately, again from the Harvard Business School, Francisco Miralles and Hector Garcia, in Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life, they talk of the Blue Islands, the 7 Blue Islands, and they suggest that the secret of a long and happy life is social interactions, is trust. Build great organizations. Technology will prosper, but make them humane. We pay people, and in our days we used to have words like skilled and unskilled workers. where you employ the body and pay the person for their body. We have knowledge workers, you pay them for their mind. What will it take for you to involve their heart into their job? And what will it take for you to involve their soul, their conscience into their job? So I think that's approximately the time that Lakshmi has given me. My problem is that I'm totally and completely unused to talking for 10 minutes. I stopped taking BTech classes about a decade back because they were only 55 minutes. So I only take 3-hour sessions. But Lakshmi said no more than 10 minutes. I've taken more than that. All the best. Learn the world from the practice. We will teach you the theory. We will tell you the books, which you really don't need to know. They're all on Google. But learn from the practitioners. Learn from the people who have done it. Those are the ones you invited. Congratulations. All the best. Over to you, Lakshmi.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our esteemed guest, Mr. Rajiv Sikka, in 2021. Mr. Rajiv Sikka is currently CEO of Indian Oil Adani Gas Limited. In a professional career of more than 31 years, Sir has worked across multiple regions of India with Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited and has delivered an enormous increase in the sales of all chemical products. Sir has done B.Tech in Civil Engineering from HBTI Kanpur and holds a master's degree in Urban and Regional Planning from School of Planning and Architecture, Delhi. He has worked in Indraprastha Gas Limited as Director Commercial. Prior to this, Sir was Director Commercial of Central UP Gas Limited. Sir has proved his mettle as a strategist with ability in accelerating growth and generating customer loyalty levels. Some of the salient achievements of Sir are as follows. BPCL conferred with multiple All India level awards. First position, BPCL Annual Idea Awards for Innovative Creations 3 times since 2002 to 2017. Sir is a FICCI member of Mobility and Sir has been the BPCL Northern Regional winner of the Brand Quiz Pacha. We welcome you, Sir, and invite you to kindly address the students.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi, and I hope you are able to hear my voice. Can I seek confirmation from you?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks to you for very generous introduction, and thanks to Mr. Harish Chaudhary actually. Yeah, my camera is on. Yeah. Lakshmi, are you able to see me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So thanks to Harish Chaudhary, sir. Sir, you made my day actually. And why? Because in general, I see people do not talk about the students. You were thoroughly, I would say, you thoroughly remained focused on the students. And you took the names, I'm delighted. You took the names of students who have passed out from your esteemed institution more than 10 years back. You remember where they are, you remember where they are working, and you gave them the credit of starting this festival as well. Salute to you. And also, I was very keenly observing and noting down whatever you were saying, whether the quotes from Rabindranath Tagore or Dalai Lama, or the difference between the practice and theory, or when you said leadership. And I would like to add only one thing there, leadership of thoughts. You mentioned many leadership styles and many leadership needs. So I will also request the students and each one of you, including me, including you, we have to be thought leaders day in and day out. Of course, we have to practice, we have to do whatever best. And I'm really delighted. And I must say here only, I would like to meet you maybe one of these days to catch up and talk more with you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me a wonderful, I would say, platform to start with this whatever session we are doing together. And And to students, I am very happy to be with you, each one of you. And what I will be speaking, basically, I will be speaking on some trends actually, the way world is changing, and then it's for each one of us to decipher what is there for me, what is there for my me as learning, what is there for me in whenever I work, what is there for me in my organization if I am working, and things like that. So this is what I'll be speaking. And my only request to Lakshmi and everyone is, everyone should be on VC. I don't want people to be hiding behind this this new technology. Okay, so everyone, and I will sometimes I will make it interactive also. So that's the way I will do it. Okay, with these words I start my presentation, and I am going ahead. Yeah. Recognition.
Sir, your presentation is now visible.
It's visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just give me a moment, please. Yeah. Actually, this is very interesting. I would like to start with this only. The online culture or the VC conferencing was there earlier also prior to COVID, but it has gone full hog with from March 2020, 1 year back. Okay. And now I must tell you, even Mr. Harish Chaudhary asked, and same thing I asked, am I visible? There are already 6-7 startups now who are dealing with how to make the VC more effective. And even no need should be asked for me to ask whether my presentation is visible, whether I am audible. I should know it myself. So that's why, so I was not able to resist sharing this. And that's how world has changed. So with this, I formally go to my first slide. And before that, I will just try to share the index. Like first, I will be covering a little bit of India. Then new middle class. Of course, Harish Chaudhary sir also said about middle class, so that's also there, but in a different connotation. Then very important, each one of us consuming products, consuming FMCG, consuming food, consuming liquor or whatever. Now we are consuming, we are going big time on internet, consuming whether it's Google, consuming OTT. So I will try to spend few minutes on that. And of course the world is changing, so I will talk about zero cars, zero streets and zero emissions. Also, the aging population is increasing, so I thought I must bring in that aspect also. And at the end of the day, whatever we do, we work for family business, we work for a shop, we have got our own entrepreneur thing, or we work for organizations where the business is there. Whether we realize it or not, there is a business transaction everywhere. So I will give 1 or 2 examples of the dynamism in business, and that will be it. And then I will be open for question answer session. Okay. So with this, I go ahead, and Lakshmi, again I want to ask, is it okay, my voice or my pitch, so forth?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Sir, and the students have also, everyone is on VC, so it interacts with properly.
Because that rule we should ensure actually. Okay. And you'll be the, what I would say, headmaster in doing that. Okay. So the theme was agriculture to space, and what I thought, let me go behind let me go a few years back, or exactly maybe 70 years, 75 years back, when India had just been independent. So the scale of things, the way we work, the way we earn, everything has changed. The GDP that time was $30.6 billion. Today we are sitting on 2.86. And already the government is keen to take it to 5 trillion within a couple of 2-3 years. So that is the scale. Per capita income, which shows, and we were talking of, Mr. Chaudhary was talking about happy countries, and Bhutan is also having this index. But ultimately, one of the factors, though it's not directly proportional, but if people are well nourished, if people have got money to take care of their basic needs, whether it's education, whether it's shelter, so India has really, from a per capita income of 7,500 odd, it has jumped to 1,26,000, which is maybe 18 times more than what it used to be. And if you see, analyze it over last decade, it has really increased. And it should. With our kind of demographic profile, with youngsters being there everywhere, and maybe 50% of the population is below 31 years. So we ought to grow, we ought to work hard, and we ought to make ourselves felt, our presence felt, and income should grow. And of course should be used in the right kind of things. Food grains, the topic was agriculture. I thought I must bring this. From 48 million tons, though we have been an agrarian economy since ages. We have grown in leaps and bounds, but there is a lot of potential still there. And when I say potential, the need is to mechanized farming, the need is to be free from the vagaries of drought and vagaries of flood. Because in a state like UP, which is a big state, sometimes I'm really amazed. On one side there is a drought, सूखा पड़ा हुआ है, other side the flood is coming. So how do we get the farmers out of this, and how do we increase the food grain production? Roads, again, NH, whether it's state highway, whether it's PWD, the mobility. If the mobility is there, even the farmer, he can sell his product, or he can go to town, he can do something, or vice versa. People can go and enhance the economy. So very good amount of work has been done here, and now we are sitting on 6 million kilometers. And whenever I read the newspapers, I see the targets. Now the targets are almost 40 kilometers per day of NH. And I believe they are doing clocking more than 30 kilometers per day, which is a good target. And this mobility, this NH development, or the state highways, once they become more, and India is a very big country, as everyone knows, they will add, this itself will straight away add to the economy. Vehicles, again very interesting. From about 3 lakh vehicles, now we are at 25.5 crore vehicles. Which means if you take a family size of 5, so every family has got one vehicle now, and again it's a manufacturing sector. Or whether you produce auto, whether you produce tractors, whether you produce cars, you give employment. The manufacturing grows, the ancillary business grows, and everyone earns. And of course, the mobility, it ends in mobility being there for everyone. Civil aviation, again, from about 1 crore people, now we are 34 crore people travel every year. Of course, this year due to COVID, we have not yet reached the levels, but I was reading through newspapers, and February we are almost there, and March we will grow, because March last year almost 10 days it was total lockdown. Similarly, the power generation capacity, whether we are in a factory, whether we have got a atta chakki, whether we have got a small school, we need power, whether we are in Uttaranchal, or whether we are in Meghalaya, whether we are in UP. So the generation, the power has to be easily available and well distributed. So again, there is leaps and what I would say progress in terms of leaps and bounds there. Okay. So there have been economic reforms by the Narasimha Rao government in '91, which really, what I would say, took the license Raj or attempted to obviate the license Raj from what I would say from, if I may use the word, from Sarkari sector, and made the entrepreneurs and the new young companies like Infosys and others, they gave them wings and those companies started developing. Even TCS was established only in 1978. Okay. So post 1991, a lot of things have happened, and the present government has also pushed toward startups, has encouraged, has brought a lot of policies, whether it's Atmanirbhar Bharat. Ultimately, I see it that each one of us, including you, including me, have to work for us, have to make things happen, and that's how the growth will happen. With this, I go to my next slide. Yeah. This is the latest report which has come 2-3 days back only in Hurun. They bring out a report every year, and many of you would have seen maybe this report also. So this time they have coined a new thing, new middle class. And when I say new middle class, they have defined it 50 lakh and between 50 lakhs and 7 crores. And the number, the cumulative households in India, there's the India statistics, is more than 6,30,000. So these are numbers only, and middle class is also written below that, 56 crore, 40 lakh people. Okay. And I'm not talking about the billionaires, I'm not talking about the HNIs who are about 3 lakh in numbers. So what do we decipher from this data? What I decipher, suppose the new oil and things like that, this has been going on. But unless we analyze that data, whether I'm in Indian Oil Adani Gas or my parent company Indian Oil, we need to play with data. We need to understand what do we do with this data, how do we make this data contribute to my company. And each one of you are marketeers here. Okay, so you, whenever you look at a data, analyze what you can do with this, and then you will get more meaningful. You will be able to decipher that data. You will be able to do meaningful things for your company. So that's how. That's why I thought I will just bring in some segment here. Then again, if I'm Zerodha, suppose I run the startup Zerodha, which many of you would have used. So I will go now. Historically, the share market or the people. Retail, I would say retail participation in the share market has been less. So I will go for each of the middle class, 56 crore. I will find out the details and I will go and enroll them. And that's how I will grow. Okay, so I gave the example of Zerodha, I gave the example of Maruti, I gave the example of maybe a high-end motorcycle manufacturer or marketer. So you can interpret this in a variety. If suppose, let's talk about HNI. people who are doing more than 10 crore. If I these days now high-end theaters are being installed in residences. Okay, so if I am some kind of that, there's a company, there's a startup which gives you which has a subscription model. They come up to your home, they will install a theater, you can have unlimited, you can screen the movies whenever you want. So I will target, if I am doing that startup, I will target these HNIs. Okay. So I thought I will give you some examples of what you can or what I should do with the data. And that was my whole reason of bringing this slide here. Yeah, I will go to my next slide. Any questions? Any questions at this stage? I will love to take maybe a couple or two. Lakshmi, if there is a question, I will like to take. Or shall I go ahead?
Sir, I request the students to raise their hands if they have a question at this point. But I believe, sir, that if it's okay, we'll keep the questions for the end and you can please proceed.
Fair enough. आगे
Next.
Just a second, I'm not able to do the slide. Next slide. Yeah. So again, I thought I will bring this data about what is happening in internet, what happened in internet. I picked up this from somewhere, so might be 90% accurate, but numbers are not important. Important is what do we see from this slide. Okay. So what I understand, YouTube, each one of us uses, whether it's for seeing some program or some lecture or understand or seeing some do it yourself things. So every hour, every minute, 500 hours data is being uploaded by people like you, me, or certain organizations. Now, how do you see it? The way I see it, earlier the videos were with so-called TV industry or with movie producers or movie moguls, whether it was Bollywood, whether it's Tollywood, whether it was Hollywood. But now, YouTube has democratized it. If I want to give this lecture, which I'm giving today, or if I want to have a 2-minute motivational thing, I can upload it without any audience. And then I send it to few of my people, they like it, they send it to 4 more people, or they popularized it, or if I am in my own way. So I can maybe hit, I am just giving a empirical example, I can hit maybe a million numbers in one day. And that is which is happening, whether it's the new movies, whether it's the new songs which are without movies, people are going. People are using this medium, so it's free for me, but ultimately I can earn money, and YouTube is earning money again on what I produce. So YouTube you can say is the producer now, but he's not paying any money to me. I am getting the money. If I'm getting good hits, I'm getting per page views. I'm getting money from the so-called marketeers, and YouTube is also getting money from those marketeers or people who are ready to advertise on that. So you see, why? So they are beautifully, and I'm very sure when YouTube was formed, of course it was not when this even the word startup was not there to full extent. They were not knowing what they have done, and they had never made it with this kind of intention. But since it was customer centric, I would like, and each one of you is doing MBA, we need to be customer centric always in our thoughts, in our practices, in our aspirations. And they have the YouTube has changed over the years. I'm talking only of the positive things here. and that's how people are using it, and nobody is telling me or you to use it, but we are going. Similarly, same thing happened with Facebook. It started off as a college, I would say college experiment, and see, it has grown. And similarly is WhatsApp. People share 4.16 crore messages. Now I take an example of WhatsApp. So far they are not taking any money from people like me and you. But if they monetize it quickly, suppose like what I've shared here, WhatsApp users share 4.16 crore message in a minute. If suppose they want to monetize it in India, and as per my last this thing, they have got something like maybe 4 crore, maybe now more users in India. And suppose they say every user has to give $1 or say 100 rupees. I think at least 2 crore people will immediately give 100 rupees per month. And see the beauty of the what they have created. So if you talk in terms of revenue, 2 crore into 100 rupees per month. So straight away 200 crores per month. And again, it's addiction. So I will go for it. My wife will go for it. My kid will go for it. And people are doing business in any case with that. So there is a business model also there which has evolved. There is a personal model which has evolved, and they are doing lot of things. There have been some hiccups of privacy and other issues, and lot of things are being talked out. But I'm not talking of the negative aspects. I'm talking of the power and the reach of WhatsApp or any other, whatever apps, Netflix. It started as a video library, but see where they have gone. Now they are as good as top-notch Hollywood producers, and they make their own movies. They make their own contents, and India also. They make their own OTT movies, and they have big stars, and people go and see the movies. And of course, COVID last year helped them in pushing them to next level. But again, it's a democracy. Suppose I am an aspiring singer. Okay. Now earlier, what was I had to fight out with that. I will not use the word Bollywood coterie, but there are camps there, which is a known fact, and it's very difficult for a youngster to go there. But yes, people succeed. But now I've got more options, so I can go to TV, I can go to Netflix, I can go to Amazon, I can go to Balaji, and of course I can try in Hollywood, Bollywood, Bengali movie, Tollywood. So see the consumers. The consumers are having so many, the customers, and at the end of the day, I'm a consumer or a customer. I have got so many options. So there are many names mentioned here. I'm not going through each one of them, but that's which is happening. The new business models are being evolved. The new ways of interactions with customer are evolved, and the new ways of doing business is being done. And again, I've summed it up in one line: continuous customer engagement and value creation. If you're able to do whatever business, you are selling, you are having a tea shop, perfect. Create value for the customers, and they are ready to pay. And that's what I mean when I again reinforce the fact customer engagement and value creation is the key. I go to my next slide. Now, I belong to oil and gas sector. I thought at least I should share one perspective from oil and gas also. And again, it's what I thought it's a radical thing. Saudi Arabia, which thrives only on oil money, they are so big in terms of what I would say profits, numbers, revenue, and of course, whether it's US, whether it's European countries, everyone wants to have good relationship with them. Why? Because they are having oil, and they are now thinking. This was a news report which came about 2 months back. They are now planning to do something like a 170 kilometer development, which will be a $500 billion project. And they are also saying they are able to realize that slowly the climate activists, the environmentalists, the world economies, the people they are influencing, and oil is on a wane. I would not say it will reduce it will vanish in 10 years or 20 years. I don't want to keep a number to that, because the world is so diverse. We need oil and gas everywhere, whether it's Africa, whether it's India, whether it's Burma, whether it's US. Okay, but they are able to, they are also Saudi, who's thriving on the oil economy, they are also able to see the shift. So that's why I thought I will bring this this slide to notice of each one of you. You would have seen it, but now they are also thinking how to do something extra. So whether it's ultra high speed transit or autonomous mobility solutions, driverless cars, like what Chaudhary sir also mentioned. So if you are doing a big business, you have to diversify, you have to think radical, you have to promote the startup culture within your own company, and you have to do a lot of things. I thought I must bring in this slide here. Yeah, again, the population, the demographic profile of India is also changing. Europe, it has already changed. Japan, it's already more old people are there. Even China is now facing, due to that one child theory which they did for almost 40 years, the growing population is increasing. Now what do I see as a marketeer here? Okay, there are two things. One is I have to think beyond investments. Maybe it's my CSR budget, maybe it's my human, what I would say, people like Azim Bhai, Premji, Vipro fame. So I have to bring in, I have to see what I can do for this population, and we owe our existence to them. That is one part. Second, also, if I am like in Japan, there are so many, what I would say, so many brands, and when you go to malls, there are so many exclusive showrooms for people who are in the age bracket of 60 and above, and there are brands dedicated to them. So in India also, I've seen the plus size brands now getting noticed, but we should have that kind of thing. So as a marketer, I have to see of this population which is growing, how I can service them, and even how I can make my revenue enhancement through these. So whether it's a healthcare, whether it's a health tech, so there are opportunities. But yes, we have to be compassionate as well, and we have to ensure that the state government, the central governments, and the so-called big companies, they participate in the process and utilize this aging population. So while I captioned this as thinking beyond investments, I have covered both the parts with investments and how do you see this population and how you can make use, whether you want to use them in teaching the kids, in instilling values in the youngsters, or creating exclusively market-oriented themes around this population. Okay. I thought I will give one or two examples of the dynamism in business, and of course I'm not promoting Asian Paints here. It is just a name, so they won't be knowing also I'm doing something with you here. But I thought, now Asian Paints is a highly successful company, and why I took this example? This is a professionally managed company. The promoters, the so-called promoters, are hands-off actually. They have hired a set of professional managers who have been running this company. Traditionally, I don't know whether it's a coincidence, and Calcutta guys, they have run this company for quite long. So, but why do I take these examples? They started with waterproofing, putty, adhesives, kitchen, bath, home decor. So now they are slowly spreading. And now recently they announced they have got this eye on this tile business also. Because whether it's kitchen, whether it's bathroom, you require tiles. And the tiles business, so far there are brands, but still it's unorganized. There are many small brands, there are known brands. So they see, what they thought, that this vertical can catch up can give them 30,000 per household more income every year. This is study. These numbers may be wrong. So, but I am impressed by the way they are. People, I also said organizations and people need to diversify in terms of thoughts, in terms of practices. But I see a very systematic kind of a successful company. That's why I've taken a name. They are diversifying, but they are diversifying in logic, because people are diversified in various businesses, but sometimes they have fallen, sometimes they have not grown, and they have to come out of those businesses. But here they are going step by step, and they are doing in a very meaningful way. That's why I thought I must bring them in. With this, I go to my next example. I thought PepsiCo, and these numbers, PepsiCo and Coke, fight it out for the cold drink share throughout the world, not in India only. And this is last year's example, and particularly long lockout examples. This is the world numbers. This is not India-centric numbers only. And what happened? PepsiCo and Coke, and they are neck to neck, and they whether it's the campaign, if you go through campaigns, if in World Cup, in Indian World Cup, in cricket, one time if Coca-Cola becomes sponsor, Pepsi comes out with their own innovative act, so they fight it out. But again, I'm not talking about the fights, I'm talking about the dynamism they bring to the business. And just to example, so Pepsi, what they did, they realized they pushed their food business. Okay, so they realized the beverages, the people are not going outside to restaurants, people are not going outside to parties, hotels are being empty. So they pushed the food business, and that's how they grew vis-a-vis Coke. In the July-September figures I have shared, and that's how. So you have to be very dynamic, and that's what I thought I will bring this aspect of being dynamic in business. And again, I take example of Nazara. Nazara Technology IPO had come this week only, and if you have gone through that business model, so I was curious to understand the business model, and what and not only them. This is just an example. So earlier people were doing for opening verticals for this company is games, but they have opened, while it's a gaming company primarily, they have got this model of gamified studying. They are teaching youngsters coding and whatnot, and then they have got a hardcore sports vertical. Then they have got telco subscription enterprise. Then they have got premium, and the fantasy sports, which is growing day by day. So what I understand, the business models need to be changed. Business models. We should not be rigid. We have to look for new avenues. We have to keep our thought process open and open. And with this, I come to last slide. Last year, what we saw during COVID, whether we were working from office, it shifted to work from home, then it shifted to work from anywhere, and now hybrid model is going to stay. People will work in office, people will work from anywhere. So that's what companies like TCS and already have started, and that's how this world is changing. And with this, I bring to an end to my presentation. And the whole idea was to share the trends. And let me log off this. Okay. Okay. With Lakshmi, with these, I hand it over back the pattern to you. So if there are any questions, I am happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your wonderful insights. Sir, we do have a couple of questions in the chat box.
Yeah.
Can I please request Nikhil to unmute himself and ask his question?
Yeah, please go Go ahead, Nikhil.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So for any country to develop, it has two parameters. One is its GDP and other one is Human Development Index. But with limited resources, how should India plan to distribute its resources between infrastructure development and maintaining welfare schemes and activities?
Okay. Good question, but I'm not a politician, so this question, if a politician answers, he will answer in a different way. But yes, there has to be fundamentally, we are a evolving economy. Okay, I'm not using the word typical developing economy, which people develop, still, we are not a developed word yet. But yes, like I gave many examples, if we go for roads, people get, bitumen is sold, people get labor, the equipments are required, whether it's Hydra, whether it's JCB to dug, the labors are required. So there has to be balance, but the spending on infrastructure has to be meaningful. Okay, and while there are so many government schemes, Narega and all, you know about them. So there is always a challenge whether the money is being spent in a meaningful way. So there are two things. One is if I'm able to understand your questions, what government can do. So whatever the government is doing, that money has to be spent meaningfully. Whatever the so-called entrepreneurs are doing, of course they keep a track, so that money also gets distributed to people like laborers, to people like contractors, to people like service providers, and there is no shortcut actually. Like I gave the example of per capita. It's not a very easy, because we have got huge population. So it's not an easy thing, but the way we have grown in the last decade, I'm very sure with the right kind of policies and one thing is happening which I am able to see, the entrepreneurs are developing themselves, the startup system is developing. So people are not looking only at government. So at one moment of time, we have to stop looking at government, we have to work ourselves and we have to make my presence felt, whether it's you, Nikhil, or whether it's me, Rajiv Sikka. We have to contribute to the economy in my own way, and that's how I see the economy will grow. I hope I have answered to what you said.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that answer, sir. Sir, we have a couple more questions, but owing to the fact that we have a very tight lineup today, I would be one more question in the chat box, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Can I please request Mr. Gaurav Kumar Srivastava to unmute himself and ask the question?
Thank you, ma'am. So, sir, thank you for that wonderful presentation. I just have a small question in the sense that the social sector is now coming into the mainstream. A lot of companies which are into development sector are trying to kind of solve a lot of problems. My question is, sir, in coming times, would we be seeing a company as from the development sector being as big as Adani or as big as Tata, or maybe as big as somebody who's into industrial sector? And if yes, what should be the way forward for the startup who is aspiring to work in the development sector, but also want to be as big as those industrial giants?
I will only like to respond in two ways. If I take the international example, Tesla, like he has grown from nowhere actually. And till couple of years back, the profits were not there. The shareholders and the investors in that company, they were shouting at Elon Musk. And with one product actually, though he has got multiple these things. He has got the spacecraft wing. He has got the underground wing. But basically, his belief, his belief in the product has made him, I'm not impressed by his becoming the richest, because what Mr. Harish Chaudhary said, money sometimes bring evilness also, so I'm not talking on that, I'm not going in that sector. But yes, with one product, with single-minded, but you have to give him hats off to his focus, hats off to his intensity, hats off to his the vision. he became known everywhere in the world. And again, if you take Indian examples, say Flipkart or Zomato, from where they have grown, two, three IT boys or two, three people, two, three youngsters, they have become, I'm not talking of the money, I'm talking of the influence which they bring, the employment which they give. So it's it's not difficult. It's very, very difficult, of course, but if people have got the right kind of business models, if the people have got the right kind of intensity, they can grow. And since you took the names of some big business houses, if you really see the business houses of 15 years back, many business houses have faded. So they have not been. So the business houses, people who are growing also, they are Reliance. Take example. Now they are coining their company as not as they are coining their company as technology. They are not coining their company, and that's why they are able to bring so many investors from. Even Facebook has invested in them, as you are aware. Okay. So they are playing on the Reliance Jio rather than the oil and gas, which is the biggest revenue segment for them. So that's the strategic shift. So anyone who aspires to become big, I'm very confident. It takes a long road. It's very difficult, but yes, we can do wonders. And even bigness will not come in 1 year or 2 years. It's a Rahul Dravid inning. You have to play like Rahul Dravid. You cannot play like Pant every time. Of course, that's another topic. So the business and the entrepreneurship will come. You have to be dedicated. You have to play rock solid, and you have to keep on playing with consistency and every day. So I hope, Shastarji, I have responded to what you asked.
Yes, sir. So it's more than what I have asked for. Just if you can add only the social or development sector aspect of it, sir.
Social, actually, we should not be obsessed. Nah? Why social? I'm bit radical. Yeah.
Suppose there is a company which is working in development sector only, maybe
Give me a name. You give me the name of the company, please.
So somebody who is working as a startup in agriculture sector, maybe Bijak is a company, a startup.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what they should do to be an industrial giant? Because they want solve a problem, they don't see so much investors coming primarily because their way of working is kind of not for profit. So how they should go forward?
No, first is, look, we have to be very clear. Social, like I use the word CSR also. Many companies are looking only at CSR budget, which is not good as per me. Any company, it's a problem is a very, what I would say, glamorous word. मैं problem solve करने निकला हूँ, तो मेरे को खुद करनी पड़ेगी. No one will give money to me. Okay, the word is not fair. Okay, so BJEC, I respect them, and if so, they have to make the business model alive to the farmers. फार्मर के लिए करें, फार्मर के लिए चेंज करें, फार्मर को इन्फ्लुएंस करें, और फिर बढ़ेंगे. क्यों नहीं? इंडिया इज एग्रेरियन इकोनॉमी, क्यों नहीं वो आगे बढ़ेंगे? बिल्कुल. And I will just take an example of there is one IIT Kanpur startup with whom I interact. The name of the boy is Harsha. He's about 32 years old. He has done civil engineering from IIT Kanpur, and he was in this water thing. He's doing sensors too. And what happened? You know, recently this Uttaranchal that dam. There was a flash flood about 30-40 days back. And his equipments were already installed there, and they were very useful in terms of giving the data of water flow and all. So while he has been working since 4-5 years, more than it, now he is working for last 7 years on that startup, but he kept on doing it. And now people like central government, Jal Shakti Ministry, and he was in touch with them, but now they are calling him. Other whether it's Terry Hydral or whether it's NTPC, whether it's NHPC, now they are after him. So he was kept on. So one has to be focused on keeping on the. Again, he was also saying all the time, "मैं social sector में ये मैं कह रहा कुछ नहीं." I used to tell him कुछ नहीं. You have a business model, make it perform, make it beautiful. Is it okay, Gaurav?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That has inspired a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful answer. Sir, at this point, if it's all right, can I please deliver the thank you note that we have? So that, yes, sir. So thank you so much for such an insightful talk. We are sure that the students of BMS IIT Delhi have a lot of key takeaways from this session. Thank you for putting in perspective the development of India in the last 70 years. I'm stressing the importance of continuous customer engagement and value creation. For citing live examples of dynamism in business and for heading in. Lastly, I am confident that we all will strive to become thought leaders in our future. Thank you so much, sir. We really look forward to an engaging and a long-lasting relationship with you and your organization.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you, Harishji. Thank you, Gaurav, and thank you to all the participants. And namaskar. Looking forward to meet each one of you physically also one day. Thank you so much. With this, I take your leave. Thank you, and bye-bye.
We would like to thank all the students and all the participants for being a part of the welcome session of Building India in 2021. We will end the welcome session here and we look forward to seeing you all at 11:30 a.m. for the first keynote session. Thank you so much.